YouTube? Welcome to Fred's Full Throttle. Well, it's the end of 2022, and I wanted to take a quick moment to just talk a little bit about the channel, the year, and I wanted to thank everybody. So this year was a pretty big year for me.
Is that a purple 992 GT3?
Yes.
You got it. I'm Fred, by the way.
I'm Chris.
Chris, nice to meet you.
You too, Fred. That's right. So just watch yourself. And when you get out, watch the pipes.
Oh, yeah.
Last January, my channel had grown and finally crossed that 1,000 subscriber threshold where you get monetized. That was a pretty big milestone. As I crossed that threshold, things really started to change for the channel. I started to get my groove. I started to figure out what was working, what wasn't. You may recall, if you've been here a long time, that I started out doing a lot of driving videos, driving all over New Hampshire, taking all my favorite roads. I used to do a segment called Sunday Drives even, where I would outline the best roads. I'd include the maps, I'd tell you all about the history and the things that you'd see along the way, and it was a lot of fun to film. But it also was a ton of work. Most of you probably don't realize the amount of effort that goes into making even a single video on YouTube. One of those driving videos would take at least an hour or two to plan. It would take me anywhere between 2 to 6 hours to go drive the car, get to the road, film everything, refilm if I screwed something up. I was doing it off the cuff, so I didn't have a script, I didn't have anything to cover, and so it was sort of whatever I saw. Then it was going back through all of that and editing. Taking 2 to 3 hours of footage and editing it down to just the key parts, the parts that people might find interesting, is a real challenge. It meant that between the filming and the editing process alone, I was spending anywhere between 8 to 10 hours, if not more, per week for every single video. That's not really sustainable, at least not when it's not your primary income. So I did change up my format a little bit. As you've seen over the past year, I've gone from covering driving that I was doing to talking about the C7 to all of a sudden the C8 Z06 and covering everything I could there, as well as mixing in some other content, things like the Porsche Experience Center. So as my content has evolved and I've covered the C8 Z06 more, I've had to be a little bit more efficient with my process. You'll notice I'm not doing nearly as many driving videos, but I am spending more time diving into things that are happening, the news, and sharing my opinion. As my channel has grown, sharing my opinion has actually been one of the more successful and one of the more popular parts of my channel. That's also really had a benefit to me in planning, editing, filming. All of that is now a lot easier. It takes on average between 2 to 4 hours now for a video versus that 8 to 10 that I mentioned before. It's a little bit better with my work-life balance, and I've definitely felt a little bit less stressed over the year. I've been having a lot of fun evolving that content and trying to branch out a little bit. The way I see it, the C8 Z06 is a fantastic car, and the E-Ray is going to be as well. However, those aren't going to be the only cars that come out, and I have an interest that's more than just Corvettes. So I'm continuing to branch out, I'm continuing to try new things, and let me know in the comments on my videos what you like, what you didn't, suggestions for things. I see my channel as evolving based on what people are interested in, as well as my own interests. At the end of the day, the channel is all about what I want to film, and I do it for my own enjoyment. I'm not doing it for the money, and honestly, the money from YouTube is really not that much. Starting this in my garage, starting this where I was just kind of filming my own thing, it really doesn't feel real. One of the coolest parts of all of this, though, has been you, the viewer, you watching this. Anyone who's clicked like, anyone who's clicked subscribe, and honestly, anyone who reaches out in the comments. You don't have to agree with me. As long as you're respectful and polite, I'm happy to have discussions. I'm happy to let people share whatever their thoughts are, even if it's completely opposite to me. But it's been a really great experience. So many of you have reached out, and I actually feel like I've built relationships with a lot of you, and I want to say thank you for that. That has been the coolest part of this last year. My channel now, going into the end of December, is actually sitting at almost 2,100 subscribers, more than double what I had at this time last year. I still don't believe it, and it's still kind of weird because I've sort of reached that point where you actually can say, I'm a YouTuber. Anyway, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I want to say that I've got a bunch of exciting things planned for this next year. Now, 2023. It's going to be a pretty busy year, and I've got a couple really interesting things planned for the channel. I'm probably going to get a couple opportunities to be in the Z06, actually drive it or ride in it, and share my opinions on it. I'm still about 2 years out in the process, somewhere around 1,100 in the numbers at McMulkin. But I will have more information about the Z06. I'm going to be following the E-Ray pretty closely, as well as some of the other subsequent models. And additionally, one other cool thing that I'm doing this coming year is me and a couple of my buddies are starting a team, and we're going to go racing in 24 Hours of Lemons. We're just at the early planning stages right now, and we don't know specifically which race we want to do yet, but within the next month or so, we're going to start having plans. We're going to go out and buy a car, and I'm going to try to chronicle as much of that process as I can, interspersed in between all the other Corvette and Porsche news that I cover. So anyway, I know this is probably getting long, but I wanted to wish everybody happy holidays. I hope you have a great time. I hope you get to eat some good food, spend time with friends and family, and relax a little bit at the end of the year. And then I'm looking forward to this coming year, to more interaction, potentially even a group drive with subscribers from the channel somewhere out here in New England. So thank you very much for all the support. I really have enjoyed this past year, and I'm even more excited about the coming year. So thank you, and until next time, Fred out!